What if I told you that one teenager from Liverpool, with a fire in his heart and a nation on his back, would change English football forever? What if I told you that the hopes of Manchester United's golden generation and the dreams of millions of England fans would rest on the shoulders of Wayne Rooney? This is the story of a boy who became a legend, a prodigy who carried a nation, and a warrior whose journey was as heavy as the burden he bore. Wayne Mark Rooney was born in Croxteth, Liverpool in 1985. Croxteth wasn't a glamorous place. It was a tough working-class neighbourhood where opportunity was scarce and football was often the only escape. Families there lived paycheck to paycheck, and young boys played football on concrete streets with battered balls until the sun went down. Rooney grew up in this world. He wasn't polished, he wasn't privileged, but he was relentless. Even as a kid, his energy was endless. Teachers would recall how he would bring a ball into school every single day, playing before classes, during breaks, and after the final bell. His ability was frightening. At 9, Everton signed him into their youth academy. Immediately, he stood out, not just because he was good, but because he was ruthless. In youth leagues, he would score goals for fun, often putting double digits past unlucky opponents. By 14, his reputation in Liverpool was cemented. This kid wasn't just good, he was different. Football wasn't just a game for Rooney, it was identity. While other kids his age dreamed casually of being footballers, Rooney lived it. He studied players on television, imitated their movements, and added his own edge. Coaches often said his determination was unmatched, that even in training sessions, he treated every kickabout like a cup final. That attitude would never leave him. The moment came in 2002. At 16 years old, Rooney made his Premier League debut for Everton. And then, on October 19th, against Arsenal, the defending champions, he produced the moment that would change everything. With the ball at his feet, Rooney looked up, saw David Seaman, one of England's greatest goalkeepers, off his line and unleashed a rocket. The ball flew unstoppable into the net.
Have a chance to come forward. Now Rooney. What can he do with this? Oh, what can he do? Remember this name, Wayne Rooney. A new star is born on Merseyside.
The commentator's words echoed through history. Remember the name, Wayne Rooney. And we did. Because that goal was more than just a strike. It was a declaration. This was no ordinary teenager. This was a boy ready to carry the hopes of millions. Euro 2004 in Portugal. England arrived with a squad many believed could finally end the decades of hurt. Beckham's leadership, Gerrard's drive, Lampard's goals, Scholes' vision, Terry's toughness, Ferdinand's composure. On paper, it looked like a dream team. But it wasn't Beckham or Gerrard who set the tournament alight. It was the 18-year-old Rooney. In England's opening game against France, Rooney was fearless, bullying seasoned defenders like Lilian Thuram and Marcel Desailly. Against Switzerland, he scored twice, becoming the youngest goalscorer in European Championship history at the time. Then, against Croatia, he scored another brace, dominating defenders with a mixture of speed, power, and instinct that was unheard of for a teenager. England fans were in ecstasy. Finally, they thought, here was the player who could lift the nation to glory. For once, the newspapers weren't criticizing, they were celebrating. Rival coaches called him unstoppable. Players compared him to legends like Pelé and Maradona. But then, tragedy. In the quarter-final against Portugal, Rooney fractured his foot. England's rhythm collapsed. Without him, the team crumbled, losing on penalties. It was cruel, but it told the world one thing. Wayne Rooney wasn't just a talent, he was the heartbeat of a nation. When he played, England looked like contenders. Without him, they looked ordinary. That summer changed everything. For the first time in decades, England fans felt genuine hope. Rooney was only 18, but he had shown glimpses of world domination. The media called him the White Pelé. Fans chanted his name as if he were already a legend. The pressure that followed was immense. Suddenly, Rooney wasn't just part of the team. He was the team. From that point on, the burden grew heavier. England fans, scarred from decades of failure, now pinned their hopes on him. He wasn't just expected to score goals. He was expected to deliver tournaments, to carry history, to erase 1966. For a teenager, that weight was unimaginable. But Rooney never complained. He embraced it. In August 2004, Rooney signed for Manchester United. The fee, £25.6 million, the highest ever for a teenager. Everton fans felt betrayed, but Rooney had outgrown Goodison Park. He needed the biggest stage, and Sir Alex Ferguson knew it. His debut was legendary. A Champions League night against Fenerbahce. Rooney scored a hat-trick. Old Trafford roared, and the world took notice. A teenager, fearless, announcing himself in Europe with 3 goals of pure class. For the next 13 years, Rooney became Manchester United's warrior. Alongside Cristiano Ronaldo, he formed a deadly partnership. Where Ronaldo dazzled with skill and flair, Rooney provided grit, sacrifice, and power. Together, they won everything. But Rooney's greatness wasn't just in goals, it was in his adaptability. Ferguson often asked him to play out of position, on the wing as a supporting striker, even in midfield. Most players would sulk. Not Rooney. He just worked harder. His attitude was simple. Whatever it takes for the team. The rewards were immense. 5 Premier League titles, a Champions League in 2008, where Rooney's relentless pressing and selfless running helped United conquer Europe. FA Cups, League Cups, a Club World Cup. His highlight reel is a museum of greatness. The overhead kick against Manchester City, volleys from impossible angles, long-range thunderbolts. He scored 253 goals, becoming United's all-time top scorer, surpassing Sir Bobby Charlton's record that had stood for nearly half a century. But perhaps his most underrated quality was his intelligence. Rooney understood space, movement, and timing better than most. He wasn't just a battering ram, he was a football thinker, capable of dropping deep to create or pulling wide to open channels. Teammates often said he was 2 players in one, the striker who could finish and the midfielder who could dictate. Beyond the numbers, there was something deeper. Rooney carried United through transitions. When Keane left, when Ronaldo departed, when Ferguson retired, Rooney was the constant. He shouldered responsibility in times of chaos. He played through pain, through injuries, through criticism. Yet even at his peak in Manchester, the question followed him. Could he do the same for England? Could he turn club success into international glory? Rooney's international career was one of contradictions. On paper, it was glorious. 53 goals, England's record scorer until Harry Kane surpassed him. But emotionally, it was heartache. 2006 World Cup, Germany. Rooney broke his metatarsal weeks before the tournament, but was rushed back. England's hopes were pinned on him once again, but he wasn't fully fit. In the quarter-final against Portugal, frustration consumed him. After a tussle with Ricardo Carvalho, Rooney stamped on him and was shown red. England lost on penalties. Rooney was scapegoated as the villain. 2010 World Cup, South Africa. England stumbled through the group stage. Rooney, isolated and frustrated, vented his anger at fans after a 0-0 draw with Algeria. Nice to see your own fans booing you. England were thrashed 4-1 by Germany in the round of 16. 2014 World Cup, Brazil. England crashed out in the group stage. Rooney scored against Uruguay, but it wasn't enough. Critics said he was finished, past his prime.
I don't care what anyone says. I'm ready for this World Cup. I'm focused, and of course there's competition for places. There always is. You're playing for your country, and I'm ready for that. I'm not worried on anything. The manager's got a job to do and pick the team, and whoever he picks, I'll respect that, and I'll do my best to try and help the team.
2016 Euros, France. As captain, Rooney reinvented himself in midfield. He guided England with experience, dictating play. But in the round of 16 came humiliation.
One of the best managers in the world, and obviously knows the Premier League really well, and for myself, and I'm sure for the other Manchester United players, it's exciting times, so I'm looking forward to it.
A 2-1 defeat to Iceland. Another failure, another scapegoating. And yet, the numbers never lie. Rooney carried England for more than a decade. He scored in qualifiers, friendlies, and tournaments. He broke records. He kept England competitive even when the system was broken. The truth. Rooney wasn't England's failure. He was its foundation. He was the glue holding together a flawed generation. Beckham, Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, they never truly clicked together. The tactics were poor. The pressure was suffocating. But Rooney stood there, year after year, carrying the burden of a nation's obsession with reliving 1966. And the weight wasn't just physical, it was psychological. Every time England stumbled, the media turned on him. Every missed chance was magnified. Every red card portrayed as betrayal. Every tournament failure pinned to his name. Other stars faded in and out of the spotlight, but Rooney stayed front and centre, shouldering criticism that belonged to an entire squad. No player could have delivered under that weight, but Rooney tried. He carried it all, even when it crushed him. By the mid-2010s, Rooney's body showed the toll of years of sacrifice. The explosive pace of his youth faded, but instead of fading into irrelevance, he adapted. He became a deeper playmaker, using vision and intelligence to dictate games. That was Rooney's essence, sacrifice. He wasn't about individual awards. He wasn't chasing the Ballon d'Or. He was about winning, about the team, about carrying others when needed. He mentored younger players like Marcus Rashford, who idolized him growing up. He guided them with the same ferocity he showed as a teenager. For England, he became the experienced leader, sometimes criticized, always doubted, but never lacking commitment. And yet, the narrative persisted, that he never fulfilled his potential, that he could have been even greater. But perhaps greatness isn't about perfection. Perhaps it's about resilience, about responsibility, about carrying burdens others could not. When Rooney left Manchester United in 2017, he did so as their all-time top scorer, a club legend beyond dispute. He returned to Everton for one final chapter, then crossed the Atlantic to MLS with DC United. Even there, he carried teams. In one iconic moment, he sprinted the length of the pitch in stoppage time, made a last-ditch tackle, then delivered the match-winning assist. Even in America, he embodied sacrifice and fight. Later, at Derby County, he transitioned into management, taking over a club in crisis. Drowning in financial turmoil, Rooney stayed. He fought for the players, the fans, the badge. He showed leadership not just on the pitch, but off it. And this theme of sacrifice stretched beyond football. Rooney rarely spoke about the pressure he carried, but those close to him knew how much he gave. Physically, emotionally, mentally. He wasn't chasing personal glory, he was carrying others. His managers leaned on him, his teammates depended on him, his fans demanded from him. For over a decade, he carried all of it and never once turned away. Sacrifice defined not only his style, but his character. He gave up the spotlight to let Ronaldo shine, gave up his natural role to fit Ferguson's system, gave up personal accolades in exchange for collective trophies. Even in retirement, that image of Rooney, sweat-drenched, teeth gritted, charging after a lost cause in the 90th minute, stands as a symbol of his career. For Wayne Rooney, football was never about looking pretty. It was about carrying the weight when no one else could. Wayne Rooney's story isn't tidy. It isn't wrapped in trophies for England or Ballon d'Ors. It's messy. It's human. It's real. For Manchester United, he was the relentless warrior, the record breaker, the man who sacrificed everything for the team. For England, he was the lightning rod for criticism, but also the man who gave everything, who broke records, who carried the weight of impossible expectation. He didn't deliver the fairy tale ending fans dreamed of, but maybe that's not what makes a legend. Maybe legends are not always the ones who win it all. Maybe legends are the ones who endure, who sacrifice, who carry burdens too heavy for anyone else. Rooney was never the perfect player. He was raw, flawed, emotional, but he was authentic. He played with his heart on his sleeve. He fought for every ball, every goal, every shirt, and in doing so, he carried not just Manchester United, not just England, but the weight of a footballing culture desperate for salvation. When people look back on Rooney, some will point to his fiery temper, his red cards, his occasional inconsistency, but true fans, true students of the game, will remember something else. That for 15 years, Rooney stood in the spotlight, shouldering a pressure that would have broken almost anyone. He was the lightning rod that drew all the fire, allowing others to thrive. And perhaps that is the essence of Wayne Rooney's legacy. Not just the goals or the trophies, but the weight he carried, the selflessness, the sacrifice, the ability to fight battles bigger than himself. Wayne Rooney, the boy from Croxteth, the Manchester United icon, the England captain, the football legend who carried a nation. If you enjoyed the video and want more stories about the legends who shaped football history, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a new upload. Tell us in the comments, where does Wayne Rooney rank among the greatest English players of all time? Until next time, thanks for watching,